Hello, this is David D. Hilster, and this is the Dissident Science News. This is the only news broadcast on the planet exclusively dedicated to the critical thinkers working outside the mainstream. And yes, I have been away for some time. Why is that? Because I'm working on a super secret project. I mean, going all out, buying things that I need, writing stuff, making a ton of graphics. Why? I'll tell you a little bit and give you a hint at the end of this broadcast. But of course, let's get right into it. And we're going to start out with a spotlight on a scientist, a critical thinker. And that comes from my friend and an email from my good friend, James Maxwell, who's on the very right there. You may recognize him, Dr. James Maxwell. He is the premier geologist in expansion tectonics. In fact, he coined the word expansion tectonics to be different from plate tectonics. Right next to him is a friend of his. He says, Dave, you got to highlight this guy. He has a book that's out and he wants to get some attention. That's what we're here for, the news, to get it out there to you guys. And so we're going to talk about a little bit, and his name is Jan Kosiar. He is from Poland, and they pronounce it, I'm sure, very differently. And even Dr. James Maxwell sent me how to pronounce it, but I'm sorry, Jan Kosiar. We're going to pronounce it in English as we see it, and even though I'm a linguist, I should know better than that. Well, let's see about what his book is about. Well, it's the expansion of the world geodetic ellipsoid. What is that? Well, let's go through it here. It says, Introduction. The paper Expansion of the World Geodetic Ellipsoid was prepared for the journal Nature and submitted on 9 May of 2018. However, it was rejected the next day without any essential or formal arguments. Thus, I decided to publish it on the internet. The original editorial requirements for Nature are preserved. Included at the end of the paper is my cover letter to the editor. Well, look at all this stuff, and this is from May 16th, 2018. There he is, J. Koziar. There's another example of how people do not allow critical thinking. They don't allow it, not even Nature. God. Well, let's keep going. Take a look a little bit more in depth. Expansion of the world geodetic ellipsoid. So this paper presents one aspect of my more comprehensive publication, Expanding Earth and Space Geodesy. Geodesy or geodesy, which shows that that expansion of the Earth emerges from space geodesic measurements and calculations in manifold ways. Whoa, all this terminology. Basically, what he's trying to say here is that they are trying to find actual measurements of the circumference of the Earth to see if that is expanding. Back to his text, among others, the major semi-axis of the world geodetic ellipsoid of WS-84 was successfully increased since the first exact calculation in 1989, up to the last such calculation in 2003. However, the last result is treated by space geodesicists as only the best approximation of a constant parameter. Get it? I think it's in the area of, according to mainstream, it's just noise in the calculations. After a lapse of the subsequent 14 years, the major semi-axis should be about 30 centimeters longer. Thus, the calculations of its length should be repeated again. And here is a table, present rates of growth of the Earth's radius obtained by space geodesic methods. They give you the author in 1987. The rate was 2.43 centimeters a year. Carey said more or less 2.08 plus or minus 0.8. Then we have Maxwell saying it was greater than 1, and Koziar, which is this author, Jan Kosiar, says greater than 1 in 2011. In 2018, he gets a calculation of 2.72. That's centimeters per year, and that's quite a movement in geological measurements. That's quite a bit. So that is his paper. I have a link down below. It's really great. It's one of another critical thinker out there who has this fascinating thing of trying to measure the actual circumference of the Earth and say, look, folks, it is expanding. That's quite an effort. I think that's a great endeavor, and we want to applaud him as a critical thinker of the week here, and we want to thank my friend Dr. James Maxlow for pointing him out to us. Now we have another book, and this one is from Dr. Peter Sujak, and he's from the Czech Republic, and he is a member of the CNPS, and he has written papers, and he has a new book out, and that new book is called, I wonder if it's a dissonant title at all, Einstein's Destruction of Physics. Bam! Yes, The Destruction of Physics by Peter Sujak. It's on Amazon. You can go down below and click on it. Make sure you click that. Oh, by hand! It disappeared. Space-time. Wah, wah. But anyways, you can go down and below and click on the link to his book, or you can also click on the link, and you can click on the link to subscribe and the little bell next to it to subscribe to our channel. We have a couple thousand subscribers, and I'm going to read a little bit from the book. It says, in the enclosure, I am sending you and to other members of the CNPS, this is his email, Sujak, to all of us, who might be interested in the second edition of my book, Einstein's Destruction of Physics. Bam! The first edition from 2017 was in the 2018, the first edition was from 2017, and in 2018, the second edition augmented about 75 pages. Yeah, he's probably not a native speaker of English, but we don't care in emails. We care about what he's saying, not how he says it or his title. My movie, that's what I said. Don't listen to me, listen to what I say, and that's what we're going to do. So I'm going to read a little bit more from his book here. And it says, this book is intended for anyone who is interested in the real physical image and order of the physical world surrounding us. It represents a concise summary of the abolishment of the principles of formal logic and relativity in quantum mechanics. That's why you watch this news channel, folks, because this is really important. The real substance of gravity and inertial forces is debunked. The substance of mass is recovered, and the nature of time in physics is revealed. The reality of the double-slit experiments is revealed. The physical reality of mysteries of space, time, frequencies, wavelengths, and wave functions in relativity and quantum mechanics is exposed. This book shows that quarks and Higgs bosons do not exist. Yay. Dr. Unziger and I agree with you. And it documents that for the past 400 years, there's no distinguished physicist who would have not recognized that without existence of an ether or something, it is not possible to explain the physical world around us. It shows that Einstein, after 1916, backwards. It shows that Einstein, after 1916, came in with his rediscovery of the ether, and he subsequently became a more enthusiastic advocate of the proven existence of ether than supporters of ether before 1905. Wow. And I'm going to read something in the back of the book for that. This book explains that all elementary particles, all rigid matter, all force fields in the universe are created from compression of ether. Filling the space of the universe with swirling ether is all that is required for the self-evolution of the universe. This book provides an overview of the opposition of physicists against mainstream physical image of the world over the past 100 years. It documents the basic historical, philosophical, and physical reasons for the return from its ways of metaphysics in the 20th century on the way to physical reality in the 21st century. This book is a result of 10 years of intense research work in the ground physical platform of contemporaryism, I guess. Like I said, sometimes I think it's fun, but this is amazing. I love the title, of course, and let's look at the back and see if I can read this. I'm going to get a little closer here. And this is from Einstein, folks. The theory of space-time no longer represents intrinsic physics. Einstein said this in 1920. Space without ether is unthinkable. Ether has to be regarded as a primary thing, and matter is derived from it. The condensations of the electromagnetic field. So, I'm sorry, the elementary particles of matter are also nothing else than condensations of the electromagnetic field. The mechanical ether, designated by Newton as absolute space, must be considered by us as a physical reality. Ether has to serve a medium for the effects of inertia. So there is what he's saying, what Dr. Peter Sujak is saying, that, hey, Einstein, after his theories were out there, was talking about ether because nobody else wanted to talk about it because it took on a life of its own. So I do want to put up here that if you do want to be featured Dissident Spotlight, that you want to send us an email to news@dissidentscience.com and have a full, we want to get your full biography in our wiki, naturalphilosophy.org. We want to keep filling that up, because what happens when a person says, oh, I like this book, I like this theory, and I want to do a report on it in school, who is this guy, and I need to know about him. Well, that's what we need to know from you. So email us and we will give you access to the wiki, because it's not open, because if it was, then everybody come in and make consensus the name of the game. That's what Wikipedia is not good for new ideas. And of course, we'll need a recent photo of you, and so please send it in, and we'll try to get to you if we can. But again, you have to have a nice biography, be willing to put that in and get yourself bumped up so people know who you are. Well, let's keep moving forward, and we do have, of course, every Saturday, just a reminder, we just had it, I mean, we're recording this, I think it's on Saturday around 50 minutes ago, we had our weekly conference of critical thinkers led by Franklin Hugh. I'll see him at the end of the month at our conference, and there is actually a really great one that I was watching the other day, where there's a big debate about what kind of mechanism, or how this mechanism could work, of expansion, how mass could be formed inside the Earth, and that in what is inside the Earth, all that kind of stuff. But you want to watch it, I'll put a link below to this one. So I found this particularly interesting. Yes, they're long, they're a couple hours long, but this discussion can be great. So if you're sitting there just sort of chilling out and want to listen to it, or you're in a car in a traffic jam, you drive and you can listen to it, because it has audio. Let's keep moving on here. And of course, we have this month, in less than a month, and June 27th to the 30th, 2018, at the University of Connecticut, at the Nathan Hale Inn, our annual Critical Thinkers Conference hosted by the CNPS. And we're back to our philosophical roots, because we had many conferences there in the beginnings of the 2000s. And of course, we have all these kinds of subjects: relativity, gravity, ether, expansion, tectonic structures, philosophy, the Big Bang, cosmology, and lots more. And this year I will be talking about him soon, before the conference comes up. He will get a Lifetime Achievement Award, and that's Dr. Bill Lucas, one of the great physics minds of our generation, and he'll be given the CNPS Lifetime Achievement Award. So you don't want to miss that. And guess what? If you cannot make it, we will be broadcasting it live with 5 cameras. Yes, we have the ability to do that this year, and we will have those on tripods, so we'll have good sound, we'll have the slides right on the screen, piped right to this whole system, and we'll be giving you different angles live. That's the hope. And of course, they will all be recorded as well, because when they're live, we're going to go live to YouTube. So make sure you subscribe to our CNPS YouTube channel. Okay, let's keep going forward. And we have, of course, our proceedings. They are wrapping up. Believe it or not, we still have a week or two before we go and order those guys. Literally, you only order them 2 weeks before. And this is the cover. There will be some adjustments, of course, on people's names and what they're, who's in there, etc. But this is the way the cover is going to look, and everybody's going to get one. And of course, we got a T-shirt coming up, and I'll show that in a subsequent week. Those are being made, and hopefully, I'll have one on. It's going to be from the university that we'll be launching, the Chappelle University. That project takes years to put these things together. We've got to launch them sometime. It's going to be launched this year. Now, on to news. We have, of course, the Thunderbolts are always putting out videos, because I've been so busy with my secret project. We have this video, and this video came out about the top 10 reasons the universe is electric. Number 8, electrical planetary scarring. They talk about that. Here's what they say. We have created a special top 10 series and highlight the most compelling evidence of the dominant role of electromagnetism at all scales throughout the cosmos. Remember, these guys are critical thinkers. They have a different model of why the scarring happens, and I applaud them constantly, because what do? They are fostering critical thinking. They are fostering challenging the mainstream. I'm never going to be against it. Even if I don't particularly believe what they're saying, that's not the point. The point is we all have to work as hard as we can to give the models and give the way the universe works, as Dr. Unserker says. We all should just work on it. Let's keep plugging forward. Congratulations. Make sure you subscribe to their YouTube channel. My goodness, it's got 109,000, almost 110,000. It makes me cry. They get more users in a couple days, subscribers, than I have it all. But congratulations, and they're doing good productions. And we're trying to follow some of what they do, their suit. Well, let's keep going. And this is the featured article of the day, and this was sent out. It was on, I think, Facebook by one of our greatest scientists of our time, Dr. Glenn Borkett, Mr. Infinity. And he sent this, and it says, and it gives you hope. Well, we're going to find out, is there hope in this article? Why some scientists say physics has gone off the rails. And I'm thinking, yes! So let's go dig forward. And it says, the 20th century was remarkably productive for one and for physics. First, Albert Einstein's theory of relativity helped us view gravity as not as a force, but as a distortion of space. I'm going to cry, but there's hope. The article has some good stuff, but this, as they say, as I always say, shoot me now. It says, then Max Planck and Schrödinger and Werner and Heisenberg gave us the quantum mechanics. And the fresh understanding of the subatomic world. It's real stale now. That stuff is really bad. In the middle of the century, the news force, it says, and then it says, we got the standard model of particle physics, an accounting of all the particles and forces known to exist in our universe. Again, this doesn't give me hope. So you get that big title, and this is the first thing that comes out. As a critical thinker, I'm thinking, nope, this has nothing to do with it. Is there anything that gives us hope? Well, let's keep going. And so far, no hope at all. But it's going, says, but the then you say, oh, but the new century brought a rough patch. Yes, there has been remarkable findings, including the 2012 discovery of the Higgs Boson. So far, no good. This is not delivering what it says. It's not at all. But it says, but those triumphs were based on theories developed decades earlier, a full century earlier in the case of gravitational waves, and new ideas like string theory remain unverified. Well, we get a little help there. Yeah, string theory was invented, folks. It was invented. It was never supposed to be verified or anything. It was an exercise. The people are rolling in their graves who came up with that, folks. So far, I have not felt any optimism from this article, and I was led astray so far. What does this mean for something to exist if you can't observe it, says Sabine, I'm not going to pronounce these names, a physicist at the Frankfurt Institute for the Advanced Studies in Germany. I think that's a discussion. That discussion belongs safely in the realm of philosophy. People can believe in a multi-universe all they want, but it's not science. Yay! A triumph right there. Yes! Something, a critical thinker, only on one part. She probably believes in all kinds of stuff. That's not real. Let's see what else is there. Seduced by math? Yes, this sounds promising. In a new book entitled Lost in Math, How Beauty Leads Physics Astray, Hosenfeld argues that the many physicists working today have been led astray by mathematics, seduced by equations that might be beautiful or elegant, but they lack obvious connection to the real world. I will also add to that is beautiful. It may look pretty, but actually they fudge so many things, and they make steps, and they reduce, and they throw out stuff without telling you, so it ain't so elegant after all. Oh, I got a bachelor's in mathematics, so I'm pretty good at math. I can't believe that what is this once venerable profession has become. Yes! Good stuff. Theoretical physicists used to explain what was observed. Right on. Now they try to explain. This is my favorite sentence. It's worth going through the whole article. Thank you, Dr. Glenn Borkett, for sending this just for the sentence. Now they try to explain why they can't explain what is not observed. I'm going to put that on a t-shirt. That is so good. Let me read that again. Now they try to explain why they can't explain what is not observed. Whoa! And they're not even good at it. High five. I love it. So it was worth all of that. And of course, they're going to have the conclusion, and the conclusion's always the same. And I'll tell you what that is. He says, as for supersymmetry and the dark matter principle, he says it's too soon to bury these ideas. Sometimes he says you have to be patient. And trying to save some things. He says, Turek, too, remains optimistic that a new area of physics may be just around the corner. One that might produce bold new ideas on the scale of quantum theory. Wrong. Well, I got that completely wrong. What we need is for someone, probably some young person, to come forward and say, aha, this is the way it all fits together. And that leads me to the concluding point of this, and that's what they always say. There's going to be a savior. It's a person who saves us. It's a genius who saves us. Why? Because it's more important in the scientific world to be famous and to be that person and to point to them and hold them up on a pedestal than it is to have science go forward with thousands and thousands of us working like we are now outside the mainstream to push science forward, and that there are really no geniuses. That there are people who come up with really great ideas, but they always can be better, made better, and they can even be thrown out for better models. And nobody has a license to say that you can do it and you can't. Everybody can do it. It's a free universe. We all have brains. We have everything in our phone. See this phone? Everything in all of knowledge of humankind is in this little teeny package. So it's all available to us. So, as I said, I promised to talk about Dissident Science News, and what have I been doing? Well, this is part of the logo because I pulled some of it out. This is a logo for a new website that I am planning. Yes, it's already registered. Yes, it already has a website. Yes, it already has a YouTube channel, but it's not announced. And I won't tell you what, but it is massive. The idea came from me when people said, hey, this whole news idea, this news channel, this news program on Dissident Science, you can get like 100,000 subscribers. I thought to myself, yeah. And I started thinking, and my brain started turning. I said, I can make 1,000 into 1,000,000 because I came up with $1 million idea. I think I've run it by some people, including my 12-year-old daughter, who doesn't like anything but gets all her news from YouTube. And she said, Dad, this one could go viral. There's nothing going to be like it, and it's going to be doing everything we're talking about, but it's going to do it in a market with humor, with storyline, with great graphics and great editing. Not like where I'm just rambling on right now. This will be edited. It's going to only going to come out. I'm working on the trailer right now. Then we'll work on a couple or 3 programs so that people get it, start subscribing, and probably, hopefully, once every week or 2 weeks I will do it, depending on the production. And it is going to hopefully get more and more people to become critical thinkers and look our way to see the great scientists we have and we feature, and all great science that we have on this channel. And remember what I always say, stay critical, stay thinking. I'm Dave D. Hilster, I'm your science therapist, and now Dissident News anchor. Ciao for now.